It happens to be that from the time that God delivered his people out of captivity and then began to establish them as a self-governing nation that were subject to his will, that was the context in which God had the liberty to begin to reveal purpose. Are you there? When they were in Egypt, they were there for about 430 years. God did not reveal the purpose of the existence of a people that were called by his name until such a time when he brought them from captivity to resettle them as a self-governing nation, having him as the principal authority governing their civilization. That was an adequate situation for God to begin to reveal purpose. Now, let me give you an idea. I'm not just speaking English. I'm trying to draw your heart to something. I hope you know our God knows the end from the beginning. Our God was never created, so he can never be destroyed. Do you also know that our God concluded everything that he wanted to do in eternity before he began to implement it in time? So nothing is going to take our God by surprise. For instance, concerning you that is sitting in church today, the Bible says, before I formed thee in the womb, I knew you. And before you came forth, I sanctified and ordained you as a prophet to the nations. That's the book of Jeremiah chapter 1. That means that you existed somehow. I normally call it as a seed of eternity before you were formed in your mother's womb. And God knew you in that context. God already had a plan that was preordained for you to fulfill even before you were formed in your mother's womb. That's what the Bible teaches. Okay, no, you are not with me. Okay, for instance, part of the divine purpose revealed, especially in the book of Colossians. If you read the book of Colossians, you will find out what God had in mind. One of the things that God had in mind that he programmed into the patterns of his administration was that it was God's will for Christ to be preeminent. That's the message in the entire book of Colossians. That in all things Christ must be preeminent. What is Christ? Yeah? Be bold. When we say Christ, what does it mean? It's an administrative office. Don't forget, it's an administrative, it's an office. Are you there? It's a ministry. Okay, so Jesus assumed this office when he ascended into heaven. He was coronated into that office. That office is an administrative office that manipulates everything according to the counsel of God's will. Without that office, God's will will not be fulfilled. It is that office that sees to it that God's will is fulfilled. And it's under that administration, when you give your life to Christ, that you are brought under. It means that before you gave your life to Christ, you were not under that administration. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. It seems your mind is floating out. Stay with me. God knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. But except you come under the administration of Christ, that which God knew and determined will never be fulfilled in your life. Just like so you were born again. Before you were born again, you had a purpose in God, but that purpose was locked up in an administration. It's only under that administration that purpose can find expression. But you have a purpose. You don't have a purpose outside of Christ. So outside of Christ, you can look like an accident. Yes. There's no budget that is designed to support you. There's no budget. Outside of Christ, you are more compatible with Satan. And the purposes that you are going to be living out are purposes that exist in Satan. Now, Satan did not create you. So the moment he notices that, are you there? You want to continue as an unbeliever, then he begins to put one or two things. He goes into a crash program and develops a destiny for you. Enters the lab quickly, and he comes up with a destiny. That destiny Satan has for you, if you continue to live as an unbeliever, will determine the kind of people you will meet, because purposes and direction in life is influenced by the people you encounter. So he now begins to program people to come into your life that operate with the satanic policy to take you into the heart of Satan's dream for your life. Nothing happens except by administration. You in time think that it just happened. I just met him on the plane, on Delta Airlines, on Spirit Air. We just met. Hey! No! There are deeper orchestrations that determine who you meet, Minnesota is big. I even heard there's a place called St. Paul. Now, so many things are going on there, and it will not concern you, because like me, you may not know the place. How is it that you were not supposed to meet, you just met someone at random, and you think, okay, we just met? And if you can still look back, there were some agents of darkness that you met that your life never remained the same. It took the grace of God, but those visitations you received were trapped in men. So it is when you come into Christ that administration begins to work on your life. It doesn't matter how far you have departed. It begins to work out its protocol in your life. Brings you into something that is older than you, which is God's dream that was already established before you were formed in your mother's womb.